That's fantastic. I think I can speak for both of us when I say our predictions. We tried to get as specific as possible because, it's easy to say like, oh, this game's going to show up at E3.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? We're going to give out review dates, or not review dates, release dates. And we're going to talk about some games that we hope are there, and some moments that are going to like really excite us if they happen. So,
also, what do you think about next gen? Do you think we're getting anything like new PlayStation, new Xbox?
I mean, we have been talking about, or online has been talking about how like we're in the final life cycle or whatever, the final cycle for PlayStation. So, but I mean, it kind of seems like, how long has it been out for?
It's been 5 years.
It's been only 5 years?
Yeah. To be fair, I think that means like this is the final full year.
Yeah.
I think that means next year they're showcasing it for like a 2020 release. Like they'll show it at E3 next year and be like, it's going to be available like early 2020 or something.
Okay, cool. So on that note, let's get into the PlayStation predictions. So here is Game Savvy's E3 predictions for PlayStation. And we're going to throw it to you, Sterling, for the very first prediction.
I think we're going to see some Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think we'll get to see more gameplay and more of what they've been working on.
You think we're actually going to get to see some gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, we've already have, right? We've seen like a tidbit, but I don't think I think it'll release next year.
You think? Really? Because the rumors that I've heard is that it's very far behind development.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Like, so that's the thing. It's hard to tell because you don't know for sure, right? It's always rumors. It's always leaks.
No, I know. And as a prediction, I think that's really good too because it would be like really surprising, really exciting. Like, I'd love to see a Final Fantasy VII Remake gameplay because I think they're changing up the gameplay, eh?
Yeah, it's not turn-based anymore. It's more like Final Fantasy 15.
Where it's like hack and slash a little bit.
I don't really like that. I'm more of a turn-based guy, but you got to evolve for like, that's what people like nowadays.
It is kind of weird that they moved away from turn-based because I really love turn-based too. I felt there was a lot more strategy to it. I guess you could argue that the hack and slash is a little more fun, but I actually thought the strategy behind it was interesting, which was fun for me, and you'd always get surprises too.
Games have shown that turn-based can be fun, just like Persona 5. Like, people love that game.
Pokemon,
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
The biggest gaming franchise.
People always say like, "Oh, turn-based is so boring," but Pokemon's the best-selling RPG of all time.
Yeah,
it's turn-based.
So that's kind of interesting. I'm moving away from that, and you know what? I would love to see some gameplay from Final Fantasy VII. So I think that's a really good one.
What also sucks is that so people rag on Final Fantasy 13 for being so simple with combat. It's quoted as the game where you can just press X and win, which has not been proven to be true.
Yeah.
But I have seen a guy go through all of Final Fantasy 15 holding the circle button because that's dodge, right? Yeah. And when you just hold it, you dodge every enemy's attack, and it's super simple. It's super simple combat. So I'm a bit worried that's what's going to happen with Final Fantasy 7.
So that was Final Fantasy 15? He just dodged everything?
Yeah, you just dodge everything, and then just attack as well.
But how do you... and attack. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Well, I hope it doesn't go that route.
Do you think, like... How do you feel about 15's combat? Because
I like it.
People said that's what they released that style of combat with 15 so that they can, like... kind of water that into Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people are used to.
That makes sense. I do find it a little boring, but it's interesting with some of the powers that you can use, especially that throw the sword, and like that's just fun to use, period. I do find it a little complicated when it comes to combos and stuff. I'm not quite sure how to like make that happen and stuff, but they just like randomly will pop up and I'll press a button and we'll do a combo, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how to make that happen every time. So again, there's that lacking of strategy in there. It's more just like a clusterfuck of just like hack and slash. So but would love to see Final Fantasy VII.
Do you think it's far behind in development?
I think so, just because we haven't seen a lot of it.
That's true.
But this E3 could prove me wrong if your prediction comes true.
It was showcased 2 years ago, I believe. So if it released next year, that'd be 4 years since they first showed it. So.
That's very true, and I know they are like all hands on deck right now with it. So
Final Fantasy VII is like one of the biggest RPGs of all time.
That's very true.
And they said for years and years, like, we're never going to remake this game. Like, it's too big. Like, nobody's going to be happy with it if we did it. And then they surprised everyone.
That's crazy. And Cloud's such a cool character, too. Like, I could see him being like like a cultural icon by the time this game is over.
Well, he was on our iconic list. I
That's
think.
true. And if you get the chance, check it out. Our 40 most iconic video game characters of all time, which I think we'll probably cover more in our next podcast, just because we won't have time this podcast.
I think he was like 19 or 18 or something.
That's awesome because he's a cool looking dude. So, but yeah. So okay, prediction number 2, which is my prediction, and that's going to be that Death Stranding. We're going to get some gameplay from Death Stranding.
Well, I mean that's given, right? Like they
is it though? Because like we've seen it.
They could. Well, yeah, that's true. They could just show like a cinematic trailer.
Yeah, and they could do a story trailer and stuff, which we haven't really gotten. We've gotten just this.
But it just makes no sense.
Of like some, and I think we're gonna get gameplay, and I think it's still not gonna make any sense.
Okay.
It might be a little cop out of a prediction, but I think that we're actually finally gonna get to see some gameplay. And you know what? I'll go one step further and even say the game is finally gonna make sense after E3.
Okay.
Like, does it make sense to you?
No, yeah, that does. Like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because I don't know, right? Like, we know nothing about Death Stranding. It's getting a lot.
I don't know. I think that's like kind of part of the charm of it so far, and what they want is like people theorizing about this game because like it's popular, it's gonna sell for sure, and like part of that unknown is so like I don't know, just draws me towards it's like what is
kinda
this
makes sense,
game?
Yeah, kind of makes sense. So, that's my prediction. Death Stranding gameplay at this year's E3. No story trailer. Gameplay, and it's just still not going to make sense.
What? Do you think you have any sort of idea what it's about?
Oh, man. Like, it's got to be something to do with time travel or parallel universes or something.
Really?
Or, yeah, just because, like, you know, like, there's this, like, baby involved, and you see somebody, like, age really fast. And, like, these creatures that are attacking them are, like, invisible, but they're there at the same time. So I feel like they're in, like, alternate dimensions or something. I don't know. It seems really convoluted, but...
I think it's something, like, post-apocalyptic where, like, kids aren't born often or something. Or maybe kind of like the Matrix where they're used as, like, energy. And that's why they're, like, protecting the kids or whatever.
But, like, why was the kid, like, they went inside his stomach and the kid
I know,
was there.
It's
and
so
it's
weird.
Like, what is going on?
And it was like wasn't it Norman Reedus? Wasn't it his...
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a dude. So it's not like the baby's like...
Exactly. So
it's
like,
not like Norman Reedus is pregnant.
We just have like no idea what's happening and none of it makes sense. And I don't know. I'm hoping that this year's E3, it'll make sense. Not only make sense, but we'll see some gameplay because I'd love to see like... I think Kojima's come out and said that it's a third-person shooter.
Is it? Okay.
I think he came out and said that. I'm not positive on that.
The guy's a genius. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. Prediction number 3.
We saw it at the Game Awards in 2017, I believe, was this very, very cryptic trailer of nobody even knows.
Yeah.
It's like...
From who?
From Software, the people that make Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And it said Shadows can't die twice or something like that.
Okay.
And people think it's Bloodborne 2.
Very interesting.
I think as well, because like the trailer had a lot of blood and stuff like that.
Okay, a couple questions. Does the Shadow Never Die, does that relate to Bloodborne in any way?
I can't really say because I haven't beaten the game.
Okay.
It sounds very Bloodborne-y.
It does sound very Bloodborne.
Bloodborne's a very cryptic game in itself. Like,
yeah.
All the Souls games are known for being like, they don't just spoon feed you the story. Like, you have to kind of find it out for yourself.
Yeah. Bloodborne 2 would be really hype.
Yeah.
Just because PlayStation's riding this high. Like, they're kings at this year's E3. So for them to come out with that, like, new... brand new IP
to make it like a franchise.
Yeah, you know, like an exclusive like that would just be like crazy. It'd be so good for them.
It's also the fact that they made Bloodborne free on with PlayStation Plus a couple months ago to get people kind of like make Bloodborne relevant again and people playing it again like a few months before E3 to put it in people's minds.
Yeah,
I think that's another reason we're going to see it. But yeah, I think there's a good chance. I don't see why they wouldn't.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's prediction number 3. Prediction number 4 goes to me. So I think that because we saw it with Crash Bandicoot and we saw it with Spyro, that we're going to get some sort of like classic game remastered.
And even Ratchet and Clank.
And Ratchet and Clank as
Not
well.
remaster, but they rebooted it. Yeah.
And I think we're going to get like a Jak and Daxter remaster. Just because they do have, you know, Jak 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's ripe for the picking, basically. And I think a lot of gamers have some classic memories of playing like Jak and Daxter. Mm-hmm. I know I do, playing with my brother, so I would, not only do I think it's going to happen, but I would absolutely love if it happened. That's one of those E3 moments that I'd be like, like going crazy and stuff. So Do you have any like memories playing Jak and Daxter?
I've never played it.
You never played it?
No.
No, it's actually pretty good. It's kind of like a zany third-person shooter. It's got kind of like elements of like Naughty Dog. I think it is by Naughty Dog. It's kind of stupid to say, but yeah, it's a Naughty Dog game. I'm just gonna double check.
I'm pretty sure. I thought it was Ratchet and Clank that was originally Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog, Jak and Daxter.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it is a Naughty Dog game. It's got that kind of feel to it, and I don't know. It's like a cartoony, zany adventure. The weapons were always really good. The mechanics were always really good, and the story was good enough. You know, it's basically like you're kind of this like badass dude. I wouldn't say badass; he's a cartoon, but you are kind of a badass. Big weapons, big explosions, take down the bad guys. So yeah, I'm kind of really, really hoping for Jak and Daxter Remaster. I think I think a lot of gamers would go crazy for that. I think they'd all be like, "Wow,
it's
like, that'd be awesome." So yeah, that is my prediction. How about you for next?
Mine is we're gonna see like a little teaser trailer for Persona 6.
Really, Persona 6?
Yeah, I know it's kind of far out there. Like
it's pretty early.
I haven't heard anyone talk about it, but I think it might happen. To be fair, like the point where they released stuff about Persona 5 and when it released was very long.
Yeah,
people like thought the game was in development hell and stuff, and I think we'll get a short bit, and I don't think they'll use the same assets, near say, but I think the game will be somewhat similar as Persona 5.
Okay.
And I do think it will sell even better because like so many people it got me into the series. I'd never played Persona before the 5th one. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll do well, and I think we'll see it at E3.
Cool. And so for my last prediction, The Last of Us 2 is going to be there. I'm going to predict that we're going to get a story trailer. I'm going to predict that we're going to get some gameplay out of it.
I like how we're using predict, but for this, like, you know it's going to be
You know it's going to go down. And I think that's going to be, like, their last thing that they're probably going to come out with. I don't think they're going to have... You know, here's another prediction. I don't think PlayStation's going to have any huge, big surprise announcements. Like, Persona 6 would be a surprise announcement. Yeah. Bloodborne 2 would be a surprise announcement. But I don't think they're going to have any this year.
Well, not so much Bloodborne 2, because, like, people already kind of expect that. I think when you say, like, surprise, like Final Fantasy VII Remake surprise, where nobody saw it coming, like, everyone flips out about it.
Like when gamers get blindsided, like Super Smash Brothers. Nintendo
exactly.
Thing. Yeah. I don't think PlayStation's going to have that moment this year. And why? Because I don't think they need it. I think right now they're kings of E3. Like, they're kings of the gaming industry right now. They can just sit back and relax and, like, here's what we're doing for your gamers. We don't need to surprise you. Mm-hmm. And so, while I think, we're going to get Last of Us 2 story trailer, we're going to figure out what's going on, and we're going to get some gameplay, I think that's going to be their biggest showcase of this year's E3.
Didn't they say that you're going to play as Ellie and not Joel? I think I heard that.
Could be. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
Have you played Last of Us?
I have, yes.
Oh, it's so good.
It is very good. It's probably one of the best games I've ever played.
I found it very short, to be honest.
Yeah, it was kind of short. I remember I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, and my buddy was like, here's my PlayStation 3, you have to play it. Gave me his whole console for the weekend. Played through it, but the story was just so good the whole time that I was just like, man, like, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that, again, and we showed it in the skit, but that it is always, with PlayStation, it always kind of seems like adult and child just go on action-packed adventure, and they play off that kind of dynamic between them. So, I mean, if it works... Don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. PlayStation, you keep doing you.
That's when you know, like, a game is good. When, like, you give your friend your console, be like, you have to play this.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So that's it for our PlayStation predictions. If you guys got predictions, comment below. If you like what you saw, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And, we hope you enjoy this year's E3. All right.